Right. Now, here I am going to explain about the governor of state. Okay, na? So, in the sixth unit, in the same sixth unit, he mentioned in the syllabus it is mentioned the governor of the state. So, you can say at this time in you can say 2025, the Telangana governor is T.Z. Jishnudev Verma and Andhra Pradesh governor Abdul Nazir, right? We will discuss the powers, okay, functions and role of the governor and who will appoint the governor, all these things one by one. Now, as per the Indian constitution, okay, na, the Indian constitution in article, see, the Indian constitution in article 153 of part 6th. So, in Indian constitution part 6th with article 153 will give you the information about the governor of the state. Okay. And this article 153 of part 6 provides for the office of the governor for states. In this part of the constitution, the state executive make the provisions. Okay, actually this is related to state execution, state executive. In Indian constitution, part 6 explains about the state executive functions. So this is governor is also a head of the state executive. That's why about this governor is mentioned in the part 6. The President of India appoints the governor for states. Okay, the President of India, who will appoint the governor? President will appoint. President of India will appoint the governor for states and he act as a chief executive head of the state. Remember, the governor act as a chief executive head of the state. Like the president's office, the governor works as the nominal head of the state. So, same as a president. So, in the central government, president is a nominal head. Okay, same way in the state level, the governor is the nominal head of the state. Governor is a nominal head of the state. The governor is not elected directly by the people, but is appointed by the president. It is completely executive power of the president actually. So, the President of India will appoint the governor. So, we will see the powers, functions and roles of the governor now. Now, let us consider, see here, the Constitution of India, qualifications we will see. So, to become, as per the Constitution of India, what are the qualifications required to become a governor of the state, we will see. See, the Constitution of India has given only 2 qualifications. Okay, the Constitution of India given only 2 qualifications. What are those? The individual to be appointed as a governor should be a citizen of India. So, to become a governor of a state, so he must be a citizen of India. He must be a citizen of India, one point. Second is, the individual to be appointed to the office of the governor should have completed the age of at least 35 years. Completed the age of at least 35 years. So, these are the 2 qualifications given to become a president, governor. So, one is he must be a citizen of India. Second, definitely at least 35 years he should complete. So, these are the 2 qualifications for the governor is given in the Constitution of India under Article 153. Now, see here, the governor for a state is neither directly elected by the people nor indirectly by the state or union executive. So, we will see the appointment here, appointment of the governor. So, the governor is not directly elected by the people. At the same time, he is not elected by the state executive, like you can say state chief minister or state cabinet ministers like that. Okay, he was appointed by the president. Okay, na? He was appointed by the president. See, the president appoints the governor for any state by using his executive powers. So remember, president executive power. One executive power of the president is appointment of a governor for state. So for state, he will appoint one governor, okay, by issuing a warrant for an appointment in his name. By issuing a warrant in his name, so he will appoint the governor. The state governor is nominated by the center and act as an agent for the center in the state. So remember, the state governor who will appoint? President will appoint. President will appoint, but for the president, who will give you the guidance, who will give you the advice? The prime minister and cabinet minister. So the prime minister and cabinet ministers will give you advice to the president to appoint so and so person in the state. So that's why you can say the governor, okay, will help for the center to do some functions in the state, okay, to do the executive functions in the states. Here, the state governor is nominated by the center and act as an agent of the center in the state. So, he will act as an agent for the center in the state. Okay, he will go through the functions of different executive functions developed by the center and state. Is the nominal head of the state. Okay, now conditions for the governors. Okay, conditions for the governors. Now see here, the constitution has mentioned certain conditions for the office of the governor, and the governors are expected to follow these conditions. So the Constitution of India gave some conditions, right, to fulfill the governor's office. What are those? 3 conditions. Here we'll see what are those conditions. 2 conditions. Now first one, the individual appointed to the governor's office should not be a member of either house of the parliament or either house of the state legislature. So the person who is going to become a governor, he should not be a member of a parliament or a member of state legislative. Like he should not be an MP or MLA. Suppose if he has an MP or MLA, definitely he should resign. See here, if such a person is an appointed the governor, he is bound to vacate his position. So he should vacate, he should resign. After the appointment as governor, he is not to hold any other office of the profit. So he should not do any like government job, any office of the profit like that. Okay, na? Right? These are the 2 conditions given here. Now see here another 2 conditions here. The governor can use Raj Bhavan as an official, okay, residence without paying rent. Now you can see the Raj Bhavan in Telangana, you might be familiar, Raj Bhavan in Telangana. So the governor stays here. Okay, na? So he can use that, okay, Raj Bhavan without paying any rent. It is an official residence. The governor is entitled to payments and allowances as prescribed and determined by the Parliament of India. So the governor is entitled to payments and allowances, okay, determined by the Parliament of India, means the salary, allowances, okay, he is eligible to take the salaries and allowances, but who will decide the salary and allowances? The Parliament of India will decide these things, right? Now I'll discuss the powers of governor. So first, executive powers I'll explain. Okay, na? Executive powers of the governor. Executive powers of the governor. Now, first is all the executive decisions are taken in the name of the governor of the respective state. So in the central level, all the executive functions are taken in the name of president, right? So same way in the state level, all the executive functions are taken in the name of governor. Okay, na? State level. The state governor can appoint the chief minister of the respective state and other ministers of the respective state legislature. So after completion of the elections in the state, right, MLAs elect one person as a CM, right? So the person, okay, the person CM as a CM, who will appoint? Governor will appoint the chief minister, right? And there is a cabinet at state level also. So chief minister will select some members in the legislative assembly, and the governor will appoint them as a ministers. Okay, na? The governor of the state appoints the advocate general of state. So at central level, the president appoints the attorney general of India. Attorney general of India means at the government level, topmost judicial officer. Okay, right? At a state level, the topmost judicial officer, like you can say in the state government, you can say in the executive office, advocate general of the state. Okay, advocate general of the state. Now, fourth one, you can see the state governor can recommend the president and the central government for the imposition of the president's rule in the concerned state. So if there is any emergency in the state, so the governor will recommend to the president to do the president rule in the state, right? So the governor can recommend the president and the central government, right, for the imposition of the president rule in the concerned state. Okay. Next, the governor of the state act as the chancellor of the state universities. So suppose you take in Hyderabad, JNTU Hyderabad is there. So who is the chancellor of that JNTU Hyderabad? Automatically the governor. So in a state, all state universities, the governor will act as a chancellor, and the governor will appoint the vice chancellors to the each university. Okay, now, so the governor of the state act as the chancellor of the state universities, and he also given the power to appoint vice chancellor of the state universities. So the governor has a power to appoint vice chancellors to the state universities. Okay, now next is legislative powers. We will see. Okay, legislative powers. Okay, first one, the state governor can summon and expel respective state legislature. So state governor has a power to summon and expel the state legislature, and he can dissolve the state legislature. Okay, like central government, the president can able to dissolve the parliament, like especially Lok Sabha. Same way, in a state level, he can dissolve, the governor can dissolve the state legislature. For a pending bill in the state legislature, the governor can send messages to either house of the legislature. So if there is any pending in the state legislature, he will send some messages, some advices to the either house of the legislature. Then the state governor can address the state legislature on the legislature's first session. So after completion of the elections, the new MLAs and new chief minister and cabinet, so the governor will address the first legislature. Okay, governor will address the first legislature or first session in the legislature. The governor can appoint any member of the state legislature as a speaker when the speaker and deputy speakers are not available. So, right, remember, if the speaker and deputy speaker is not available, then governor will appoint from among us the MLAs one as a speaker. Okay, na? The governor can appoint any member of the state legislative council. This is state legislature and this is state legislative council. You can say MLAs and MLCs. Okay, right? So council, when the chairman and deputy chairman of the council are unavailable, so governor will appoint any one of the MLCs. Out of all MLCs, one MLC he will appoint as a chairman. Now, next, the governor can appoint 1/6 nomination members of the state legislative council. So, in a state legislative council, 1/6 of the nominated members he will appoint. And governor is given certain veto powers in respect to bill passed by the state. So sometimes the governor can hold the bill passed in both the state legislative council and state legislature, maybe. Otherwise, sometimes he will send for modification, sometimes he will send for to the president. Okay, na? The governor may even send the bills passed by the state legislature to the president for his consideration. So this one is okay. He can hold it, otherwise he will send back to the legislature for some modifications. Sometimes he will send to the president for his consideration. So these are the state governor, okay, executive powers and legislative powers. Right. Now next you can see the judicial powers of the governor. Okay. So the governor can grant pardon, the governor can grant pardon, respites, okay, reprise and remission of the punishment. Okay. So same as a president, the governor also have some powers regarding this, okay, punishments. Okay, now the governor of the state can also commute the sentence of any person. Okay, commute the sentence of any person, right? And the President of India must consult the state governor in matters of appointment of judges of High Court. So, who will appoint the Chief Justice of High Court and other judges of High Court? President. President will appoint. But before going to appoint the President, he will also ask the governor, like so and so person is good for the state high court judge, or like not like that. He will consult the state governor. Okay, the President of India must consult the state governor in matters of appointment of judges of the high court. Appointment of judges of high court. So these are the judicial powers of the governor. Two judicial powers. Now you can see the financial powers of the governor. Now see here, he provides for the annual state budget. So at a central level, the president will provide annual budget. In a state level, the governor provide annual state budget in the state legislature. In the central government, especially in the Lok Sabha, who will provide annual state budget? President. In the state level, governor will provide in the legislature. A money bill cannot be introduced in the state legislature without the prior recommendations of the governor of the state. So in a central level, the president, okay, without consulting the president, money bill cannot be introduced in the Lok Sabha. Same way here also, money bill cannot be introduced in the state legislature without the prior recommendations, without consulting the president, without prior recommendations. So if you want to introduce a money bill in the state legislature, okay, the state legislature must send this bill to the money bill to the governor first. He may give some recommendations. After that, they should introduce in the state legislature. The state's grants cannot be demanded without the governor's recommendations. So state grants, suppose the state government want to disperse some state grants or some money to the people, definitely the governor recommendation is required, right? So these are the different financial powers of the governor, right? So now finally, what I am concluding here, at a central level, the nominal head is president, and at state level, the nominal head is governor. So most of the president powers at central level imposes same powers in the state level for the governor. Okay, now, okay. So under Article 153 of the Constitution, okay, the governor is the chief executive officer of the state. And governor possesses some very good powers like appointment of the chief ministers and central minister, state cabinet ministers. So this is the information about the governor. So for your exam point of view, do you know what type of questions they will ask? Explain the powers and functions of a governor. Otherwise, explain the qualifications and appointment of the governor and powers and functions of the governor. If they want to ask a question, one question they will ask from this. Okay, one question. What is that? Okay, appointment and qualification of governors. Okay, and the powers of the governor. That's it. So if you remember some important powers, that is more than enough for your exam. So see here some executive powers and some legislative powers you can see. Executive powers you can see whatever the decision taken by the state government is taken in his name only. Okay, the state governor appoint the chief minister and other cabinet ministers at state level. Okay, state governor appoint advocate general of state. Okay, state governor recommend the president to do the president rule. Okay, state governor act as a chancellor of a state university and he will appoint the vice chancellors, right? So legislative powers you can see, he can dissolve the state legislature. Okay, and also you can say state governor address the state legislative on the first session. Okay, state governor can appoint any member of the state as a speaker, state legislature as a speaker and a chairman in the state legislative council, and state governor can appoint 1/6 of the nomination, 1/6 nomination members of the state legislative council. Okay, he have some veto powers, and he may send bill to the president for the consideration. Judicial powers. Okay, before going to the president generally appoint the state high court chief justice and other judges, but he will also consult the state governor. Okay, he has some pardon powers, respites, reprise and remission of punishments, right? And first annual state budget he will introduce in the legislature. Okay, money bill cannot be introduced without his permission. Okay, so these are the different powers. So if you remember these powers, that is more than enough for your exam.